this incredible partial solar eclipse and new moon in Aquarius on the 15th of February. It is now the 9th, and I'm here in Bali, Ubud, talking to you about this incredible shift. I would like to also recommend a friend of mine. I've got an amazing friend called Mel, and she creates these beautiful ornaments. And because I don't have a home, this is a beautiful all-seeing eye, I don't have a home, so I'm wearing this on myself, on my person. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mel. You're beautiful. So let's talk to you about you and this very, very interesting and susceptible to a whole lot more than usual new moon. So we are talking fertile time, so we are talking big grids, and we're talking huge celestial changes. As you might have noticed, there has been a change in the air after the full moon eclipse on the 31st of Jan. You might have noticed something is going on, and you might also see the parts of you that are in neglect a lot more than usual. So with this coming tide, I feel that perhaps on the 8th, as we've gone through the Stargate according to the Mayan calendar, there could have been a lot of war and peace within oneself, and I hope there wasn't too much war, and I hope that you've had a lot of patience for yourself and other people, because this was a grafting time, a very strong time to enjoy and to indulge as well if you were not feeling nurtured. However, for those of us who are still not nurturing ourselves and we're not quite sure as to what to take out of the previous phase as we go into the new year, that is a perfect call for something else. So do something else. So even if you have tried to nurture yourself but you still don't feel stuck together, you still feel that you're unwinding, or there's parts of you missing, or there's like a part of you that is like even predatorial or strong or weird or cunning, or there's like lots of different parts of your psyche, of your face, of your energy, of your outward appearance also that you don't understand. This is a very, very good time for extra attention to detail, extra attention to you, like really make it all about yourself. Because if you're not feeling lucky as you are, if you don't feel like a lucky symbol or a lucky energy, then this new moon is definitely not going to give you much. So it is for the lucky ones. It is for the ones who are young at heart. It's a gracious, beautiful eclipse, partial solar eclipse, yes, on the 15th, that remarks on us as a certainty. There is a definite. So if you have by the 8th or 9th had a vision, had an idea, and it is not a harsh one, it's a beautiful one, it's a uniting one, and it makes you want to weep, don't comfort yourself with this. Just see what it is about you that has generated it, because sometimes during this time, this little secret, you can see something and you can latch onto it, you can hold on to it, and you can wish for it. And sometimes, because we've had such a fragile moon on the 31st of Jan, this can then take us away into another frontier. As I've said before, we're being placed, we're being set up, and we're being grouped. Now, if you like it or not, occasionally an idea will not come without a contract. So this is an idea, for me, I feel, and a lot of my friends as well, as we are looking towards a better future and we're starting to create perhaps a visionary imprint of what we are to be or who we are to become. That is not quite it unless you are full-heartedly there. And how do you know? Is because you're just like, hands down, I'm just doing this, hands down, I'm just doing it, I've done it yesterday, shall I just sign? Where do I sign? If it is like that, and if it is so simple, and there's almost like a bit of foolishness there, it's like being so open and honest about it that even you feel like a fool. If you feel foolish and you don't question yourself and you don't question these people, and there is no part of you that's going, I'm not sure, then there is a chance that it's right, but it may not be totally for you. If you are feeling, I don't trust this person, I don't trust myself, I don't see how this would work, and I don't really care for it that much. If there is something about you that feels the taste, the flavor, and the color, and the feeling of this new future that you're seeing is off or odd, or you are feeling at a very, very, very awkward edge with it, by the 15th it can actually come true or become very real for you, or very, very purposeful for you. But if you are not quite nurtured by it, and you sort of like, if you can imagine like a puppy, because we're going to the year of the dog here, like sort of humbled, you know, kind of like putting its tail between its legs and feeling unsure. If you have fear about things, don't. So basically we are sort of in a state of contract at the moment. I feel there's a lot of contracts flying around. There's a lot of opportunities and possibilities. So if you are committing to something or somebody or a group of people, I would really suggest to require more time with things that are not certain and things that seem to be out of range. Also things that have been out of range before, so like a living situation or a circumstance or a person that has always been out of sight, out of mind, or out of range, too deep or too far or unattainable, and suddenly they are and you don't quite trust. Trust is a big issue here. If you don't trust, there's usually a timeline that goes parallel to the timeline, which could be the true timeline, which is uncertain. So even if you, for example, put yourself into the best hands, best situation, best circumstance, if you have this part of you that creates a simultaneous timeline which is not well, or which is not trusted, chances are there will be things that go wrong and things that are not sturdy. So do not waste time as well at the same time. But if you're not trusting and if you feel like you can't really step into this new frontier or these new shoes, and you're just covering your eyes and you don't want to know, or there is a part of you that feels in judgment or in speculation all the time, definitely not so good to step in. Trust something else for a while. What is trustful? What is trusting? For example, you might have a diet plan that you trust. You might have a certain type of shake or smoothie that you trust. You might have a certain type of situation that you trust. You might have someone who rubs your feet and you love them and you trust them. You know, you might have somebody who takes care of you. You might just have a friend or a personal relationship that you do trust. And those things that you do trust and you can sort of like hold on to or take care of, or they can take care of you, then that's great. Treat that as an opportunity or an option that will not give you more or less. It will just stay. So for those of us who don't want to plunge into the new, that's another opportunity, is to stay where you are and where you have been. So if you are looking at yourself and this new opportunity, this new era, or this something new, new information, new person, new situations, which part of you is stronger? The one that wants to stay or the one that wants to go? So that's an interesting question for you guys. If you are facing an ultimatum during this time, what is stronger, the fear or the need? And how are you going to take the next step? That's the most important part. So some of you guys know about sacred geometry. Sacred geometry, right? And how time is not linear. It's a spiral. It goes in spirals, and each spiral comes out of the previous spiral. So this is an ending of a very big spiral for us, and then we're going into like a very interesting beginning, start, or limbo state. When we're going to Pisces, it's kind of unrefined. It's like an embryo state. So as we're going into this new type of unity within ourselves, collectively and individually, how you take that first step and how you treat that first, you know, that idea or that first glance at the idea is very important. Because if you look at this new spiral and if you look at it like, ooh, like this, it will be like this the whole way around. But if you're looking at this new spiral, this new opportunity, so this new fragment of time that you're going to be living, and you're like, oh yeah, sweet, and you have this like really clean slate with it, then a clean slate it will be. So consider the first steps you take with a project. Consider the first steps you take with a person. Consider the first step that you take towards something that you want or something that you love, the first steps. So on the 15th, what can be is a new knowledge, a new person, new situation, a new opportunity, a new environment, or a whole new you. But the more you are open to it, the more likely it will shine. The unfortunate business here is with time, unfortunately, because we don't seem to have enough. I feel that something is prodding and pushing us to get this fast. And the most important thing I feel to do here is not stall, but also not rush. That's an interesting idea. Perhaps for some of you guys, for people born in October, and for Libras, because we've been lucky with Jupiter, and some Scorpios too that have vented and haven't got a lot much more to say. If you are a lucky person, you may find it that this is a perfect time to say no to a few things. Because sometimes things come in three, they say, and sometimes more. So you might say no to this, no to this, and no to this, but reality keeps on giving you alternate spirals. So you may say no to this person, you may say nay to this, nay to this, nay to this, and then after a while you go, ah, I got this. I hear myself now, like this is where I want to be. This is for people that are not usually choosy though. So if you're somebody who just is choosy because you like to be, that's a different thing, because that has become the ultimatum that you've created. But if you're not usually in a state of ultimatum with time or people, it's a very interesting time to be patient and see where that spiral goes and what it does if you should change your mind. Sometimes if somebody gives you something or chooses you a group of people or situation, and you do one thing wrong, like you sneeze, you know, and it all shakes and wobbles. So before you walk onto this new space-time dimension, it's really interesting to see what would happen if. What would happen if? The possibility here is endless for those people that have really tried and grounded themselves and forgiven a lot of themselves and tried to trust themselves and patiently snuggled in and held themselves during the first bit of Aquarius. Why? Is because it's a very impatient time during the eclipses. It is as if like something's right, something's wrong, something's got to go, something's got to give. So it's an impatient time. It's a time of patience, and for some people even a lot of non-passion, but the desire to just shed things, you know, shed things, because for some of us passion comes in different forms and different choices. Some people feel a drawing towards, and some people feel neglect. So for them a sign of passion is to walk away. So depends on who you are. For myself, it's always been shutting off as a sign of passion, even though to another person that might seem as a sign of coldness. So that's something very interesting to explore, as to where those tugs have been taking you, like where your ego or that side of you that wants to change something, twist it around or control it, contort it, where does that take you? Where is this reality taking you as well? Because some of us are walking away or taking care of ourselves, and it looks like we're doing a good thing, but it isn't. It's actually more like we're asking for patience from other people but not from ourselves. Or we can be somebody who does a lot of damage through karma control. It's like, I want to be the best person. This is something that's come up before the large moon on the 31st, the lunar eclipse. I want to be a good person. I want to do the right thing. I want to be the best. Or like, I want to present. I want to make sure. I want to continue. They can also have a very dark side, because they can become very controlling and contradictory. So if you're holding on, if there is a nervousness, if you're clenching for dear life, if you clenched recently as well, like in the last few weeks with a person, if you've, this is a really cunning moon, this is cunning. If you clenched with a even part of your world, if you clenched with your body, if you've been clenching on, if you've been really like, it's been really hard to choose, if you've been really taking your time and you've been anxious and you've been really unsure, if there's been a nervousness or a turbulence, very nice time before the 15th to stop that and to trust as much as possible. The ideal is the Fool in the tarot pack. The Fool. Just be the Fool in the tarot pack. Be the zero. Be the person that says, I don't care, it's going to work out in my favor either way. Haha. So that is the perfect idea. The greatest outcome is, for those of us who are foolish and perhaps truthful and nonchalant, like crazy enough to just pick a few cards from life, meaning those of us that can tag and tap on the shoulder many people. Say for example, if you're choosing a lover, why not date a few people? For people that are open and honest and crazy, like foolish enough to do this, because the Fool wins during this time. Why not try? Like, yes, you can butt your head against a wall, and maybe you will not get that, but you'll get something else. It's an interesting time for gamblers. It's actually a really, really supreme and strange time to accidentally win something that somebody else is after, but because they're shaking and they're nervous and they're afraid they may not get it, you might, if you are not nervous. The sturdy hand wins, and the person with the most courage and pride, without having to go into ego state, courage and pride. I feel good about myself, I feel awesome. People that are positive and people that are altruistic as well, and the people that really don't care which way it comes out. So the whole idea of not taking too much time choosing is good for those people that are ready to choose. And this is how come it's been a very interesting time. And I've also been mentioning about how this time is the time to grow, time to get ready, time to feel yourself. Who are you? Because if you don't feel ready to choose, you may get chosen. And that's an interesting time. It's like the pecking order. The pecking order of the dog pack. It's like, are you the leader or are you the chosen? Are you the following? Are you the choosing? That is the question. And this can start to show itself now. So for those young in age, you might find that suddenly this moon passes you by, you know, and some likelihood of attainment has been passed. And that's not all right. There is something for everybody here, I feel. New moon in Aquarius, I feel there is a golden sparkle, a golden spiral of time for every person to enjoy. But if you are somebody who also is too picky and choosy and wants the best, you may not find what you have for you, but you might find an alternate to what you probably should have as well. So this is an interesting thing. It's all about proportion and balance. Like we're talking geometry, we're talking the Fibonacci sequence, we're talking about having the right momentum and flow. The worst thing that people can do before the 15th is start and stop, yes and no, sorry I'll call you back, no I don't want this, I want that, no I don't want this person, hang on, I actually do, I don't like him, I like him, I like 4 people, and out of them I've got to choose 2. I've wanted this house this whole time, but you know, stuff it, I don't need the house. I don't want this man, I do. I don't, I do. I wish to be pregnant. No, I don't want to be pregnant. I don't want anything to do with this person, but I want something else but similar to what they've been to me. So basically people that are looking at clothes, like it's almost like they're looking at people as items, like they're looking at really like a basket of clothes, of old clothes, and then they're trying to decide where this new spectrum of reality is going to take them. So nurture yourself, please. If you are very unnurtured, it might be very easy for you to throw people away, and it might be also very easy for you to not treat reality as an equal part to something else. So proportions of reality, proportions can get lost and skewed for people who are not quite themselves yet and who do not like who they've become. The other thing is also actually coming up to the 15th is languages, people, countries, skills with people, skills with yourself. You will nurture yourself more if you have the right capacity for where you are living. If you are living on colonial land, like say you're living in the States, you're living in America, you're living in Australia, New Zealand, that is not okay to not want to know the culture of, you know, what was there before you came. It is not proportionate. So it's a very interesting time to research, sit down and to feel the culture of where you are. Very nice time to spend time with the locals. Very beautiful time to get a blessing from a local priest or shaman. It's an interesting, innocent time to dream with the elders. So like to go into interdimensional realities, to see where the footprints have led from way before, to feel what the land wanted before it became developed as well, to feel the nurture and the space and time that you are actually inhabiting. So also waking up to what is what, waking up to the silver platter, what is on the silver platter and what it takes for another person to provide it. It's also interesting to wake up to cars, grids, any kind of systems, interdimensional systems as well, for those who are lucky enough to dream with us. And needless to say, cities and towns, what is the purpose of you to be where you are? As we talked a little bit earlier about places, people taking their places and people being placed in situations where they probably don't really need to be. So have a look at where you are before you make the next move. So this is another thing. This is a big thing. Aquarius is a fixed sign. We have to be strong and sturdy to make the biggest change because it's Uranian sign as well. So it is the sign of change, and it is also before Pisces, which is the death / the rebirth. There is a big frontier that is coming, and if you're not steady in where you are now, how can you start the next frontier in a steady way? So try and station yourself, be as patient and present as you can. This is like hands down the best advice I've given. You can just basically skip the video to this little piece. Like this is this is the only thing that you need to know. Stabilize. Sorry for ranting. Stabilize and try to keep yourself together. It's like you are taking a dive. You are going into the water, and before you go into the water, you have to have your feet together, your feelings together, your breath together, your body feeling good before you dive, because that is what determines the spin. That is what determines your concentration and your flow. Your physicality is going to, I feel, change in the next year based actually even on this particular time. So the physical, the social, the emotional, even to some people the spiritual attributes are going to really be altered by this solar eclipse, I feel. And it also feels to me that how we enter is how we end, and how we end up is how we enter. So it's like when you're doing a somersault and you land on your feet, you know, you concentrate, you do the trick, and you land on your feet. So landing on your feet is very important. It's like a Zen practice, you know, how you hold the paintbrush when you do the calligraphy, like how you hold the violin before you learn to play the violin is very important. The structure and the poise and the feeling that you have inside. We've got Capricorn, Saturn, we've got Jupiter, Scorpio, we've got so many things that are really suggesting to me that it is time to get things right, but it is not so much about now digging inside. So these things about shadow work, you know, appropriation of culture, anything to do with digging too far into yourself and trying to pull out the better part of you, this is not it. And for those of us who are like me, perhaps addicted to soul searching, that's not going to change anything now. And I'm actually feeling that with the 31st of Jan that had to end. So we got luckily another eclipse, solar eclipse on the 15th. So we've got to stop belly button lint picking. You know what I mean? We've got to stop thinking, oh, I wonder what the insides of my head look like. Now is actually the perfect time to poise and to ground in, because as you enter this reality, I feel on the 15th, this incredible new moon, this is how you might end up later. So this is like a big pulse. This is a big, like, you know, it's like a big activation into the next frontier, which I feel for you will be awesome. No matter where you are, no matter how you are, no matter what is going on, it can be awesome if you just ground yourself in and feel secure. The next part will be great. Security and optimism is seriously all it takes. Thank you very much, you guys. I hope you had fun, and I will see you next time. Also, there's a couple of interviews that I'm doing tonight and on Sunday, and I will link them to this video when they come out. Thanks a lot. Bye.